Next question comes from me. Councillor Warmington and Mayor Craig, you've both now aired ads claiming that the other has profited off the drug addiction crisis. Mayor Craig started with an ad alleging that you, Councillor Warmington, profited off the opioid crisis as a lobbyist for Purdue Pharma, which made OxyContin, and as a lawyer for local pain care clinics. You have a chance to address Mayor Craig right now. What would you like to say to her about this?
You know, like many people in our state, I know the pain of having a family member who is struggling with opioids. And so I am disgusted that Joyce Craig is attacking me for legal work I did 22 years ago, long before Purdue Pharma's lies were known. I have spent decades helping families who are devastated by addiction. Joyce Craig is smearing me because she can't defend her record in Manchester. Overdose deaths up 52% per capita, homelessness up 377%. Now Joyce Craig says she wants to run New Hampshire like she ran Manchester? Seriously? If so, Democrats will lose New Hampshire the way they lost Manchester, and you don't have to take my word for it. The voters of Manchester rejected Joyce Craig's agenda in the last election. They voted Republican when Democrats won all around the state. If I am the nominee in this race, Joyce Craig, this election will be about Kelly Ayotte's failed record, not Joyce Craig's.
Mayor Craig, you were invoked.
Thank you. The facts are that Cindy Warmington was a Purdue Pharma lobbyist. She said that OxyContin was a miracle drug. She was a business agent for a notorious pill mill in Somersworth that pushed pills into all of our communities. And then she took $69,000 from these bad actors for her campaigns. Those are the facts. Voters need to know our full records, and it is very clear that Cindy Warmington cannot stand behind her record. I have spent my entire time as mayor fighting the opioid epidemic and saving lives. And we need a governor who will do the same thing. And when it comes to Manchester and the challenges that we're facing, I think it is pathetic that Councillor Warmington is spewing Republican talking points. The challenges that we face in Manchester are the same challenges that are faced throughout our state, and we have made significant progress in these areas.
Councillor, you have 30 seconds to respond.
Joyce Craig's attacks on me are completely bogus, and she knows better. I was acting as a lawyer in 2002, long before anyone knew of Purdue Pharma's lies. And I represented hundreds of healthcare clients. To cherry pick those is completely bogus. But more than that, Joyce Craig personally profited off the defense of opioid dealers that were putting opioids and cocaine and fentanyl on the streets of Manchester. She lives in a glass house, and she's throwing stones now to cover up her own failed record in Manchester.
It is beyond the pale that Cindy Warmington is bringing family members into this election. We are on the ballot. Our family is not on the ballot. And the fact is that Cindy Warmington was a Purdue Pharma lobbyist. She was a business agent for a notorious pill mill in Somersworth that contributed heavily to the opioid epidemic that we have been fighting in the state of New Hampshire for decades. She cannot stand behind her record. I can. I am proud of the work that we've done in Manchester, and we have made significant progress decreasing opioid overdoses by 20% in the time that I was mayor.
We do want to give Mr. Kuiper a chance here. You know, you've been critical of your opponents about opioids, Councillor Warmington as lobbyist, Mayor Craig for her handling of the crisis, but without any executive political experience of your own, how can you get that job done?
You know, it's really about relationships. You know, it's about who I know in this state, and I've met so many people through my restaurant, people at UNH, and people at the university system, people in the private sector and the public sector. And the great thing about me is that, frankly, I have not received the millions of donations that my counterparts here have received, which means that I can pick people for jobs, you know, as governor, that I don't need to go to my donors and ask them first, you know, if this person is okay. I don't have to pick someone for, you know, commission of education based on my political standings in the party.
Next question
I
comes
have
from.
to interrupt, Adam. Joyce Craig did invoke me again, and I just have to say that Joyce Craig, as mayor, signed a form every single year, notarized and under oath, that she had a personal financial interest in the law firm that her husband is participating in. I don't know what that financial interest is, but she had a personal financial interest profiting off the trafficking of drugs in her city. And when this was pointed out last week, I noticed that the law firm quickly took that page down off of their website in an apparent attempt to hide what they've actually been doing. Joyce Craig says that she has been focused on fighting the opioid epidemic, but we've heard from harm reduction people in the community
Counselor.
how she consistently impeded their efforts to save lives.
Mayor Craig, we'll give you a response, and then we're going to move on.
Thank you. I'm going to reiterate the facts in this election. We are on the ballot. Our full records are on the ballot. Part of Councillor Warmington's record includes being a Purdue Pharma lobbyist, being a business agent for a pill mill that pushed pills into our communities and contributed to this crisis that we've been dealing with. I'd like to ask Councillor Warmington, when are you going to apologize to residents in our state for what you've done?
It is really unbelievable that Joyce Craig sits here and asks for an apology for someone providing legal work years before Purdue Pharma's lies were known. Joyce Craig oversaw a 52% increase in opioid deaths per capita in her city. She oversaw her own health department called Manchester the epicenter of the opioid crisis, and it was with 2 to 3 times the highest rates of opioid overdoses as any other city in New Hampshire. Joyce Craig
Counselor.
has failed the people of New Hampshire.
Okay. Quick response from Mayor
Yeah.
Craig, and then we're going to move
We
on.
have seen a 20% decrease in opioid overdoses in the city of Manchester. The city of Manchester put forward the first comprehensive harm reduction plan. We have worked with our fire department to do outreach, with our nonprofits, with our faith-based groups. We have done everything we could to address the opioid crisis in New Hampshire, in Manchester, and we have made significant progress. Councillor Warmington cannot say that about her full record. We need a governor who will focus on addressing this
Mayor.
opioid crisis and making sure we are doing everything we possibly can to help individuals in need. And I
Okay.
will do that.
Next question.
I have spent decades
Counselor,
working in
We've really made I think we've made our points here, and we're going over the same ground over and over again. We want to get to a lot of different issues here.